So after just recently getting in Division 3 rivals, I have got to say it's some of the most bullshit rigged cancer I have encountered, being realistic. Not only am I coming across pathetic, desperate, spasmodic, spasticity, spasticness tryhards, which may be of a certain country, could be typical UK people, could be typical German tryhards, there's certain types, as you'll know. But in terms of the style of play, all I've witnessed is constant pressure 24/7, also known as, or better called, constant rape. It's never ending. As soon as you make a pass, the receiver gets the ball but is immediately marked and knocked over. But it's not a foul. But then if you give the opponent a little nudge at some point, you're instantly getting a red card, which is a joke. I mean, I have encountered some other observations along the way, but we can get into them in a future video, okay? As for physicality, a complete joke. So I'm using the likes of Samuel Eto'o. At first he was good, fast, agile, and then he just kept getting knocked off the ball 24/7, always pushed to the ground, always bullied, always marked. And then Giroud as well. As for Figo, who I just recently packed, I got lucky for once, okay? He's good, right? He performs as you would want him to perform. And that's just simply because it's a high rated card, first of all, and it's harder to get. So more effort behind it. But, if it's not constant pressure, it's speed up lag and lag in its own right. There's been times where I've been leading ahead by 1 goal, and then for some reason, they end up pausing the game or they do something, and then out of nowhere, the game suddenly lags and freezes. And then the opponent, the other human, ends up scoring a goal shortly afterwards. And it's like, what did they just activate for that to happen? It's very coincidental, isn't it? I know you've got the kick-off glitch and all that dodginess, but the other one I've noticed is when they press the pause button midway through the match and then it instantly leads to them scoring a goal. That's such bullshit. And I've ran several natural experiments with that, and I've come to a conclusion that majority of the time when they press the pause button, they end up scoring a goal shortly afterwards. I've experienced it where I've scored a goal, but then instantly they scored a goal back, like it's some kind of elastic band or rubber banding feature, like what you would get in a car racing game where you overtake the computer AI and then they would catch up to you with the speed, even though you've got a faster car, that type of bullshit. I've also witnessed the double goal bullshit where they either plow through you with their constant rape, score a goal, and then instantly repeat another goal after it. 2 rapid back-to-back goals. That bullshit. I've even experienced it on both ends, received and given, where my goalkeeper will try and catch the ball, or the ball will be rolled to them. They try and grab it, but it goes through their leg and then goes in. That bullshit. I mean, is there anything that's worked out? Not really. There's the problem. There's a lack of consistency. If there is a lack of consistency, you don't know if you're doing something right or wrong. You don't know if the tactics are working or not. And as well, recently, with all these updates, every update that has followed in the game, it's got increasingly worse. Finesse shots are completely ruined. Power shots, they're still just shit in general. Outside of the foot, trivela shots, I think they still work. It might not be 100%, but they still seem to work. And yet finesse shots, even with the finesse trait, just go wide, go completely off target. And it's like, what the hell? There's been countless times where all I had to do was just tap it in, just press the shoot button, or even just do a finesse to curve it round, and it doesn't go anywhere near. It just goes completely off target, and it's like, well, what else are you supposed to do, right? You're doing the best you can. But yeah, so far up to now, so many times getting bodied to the floor, and it's not even a tackle. Times where I've been pushed over in the penalty box, but it's not been a penalty. receiving red cards when I'm not supposed to or I don't deserve it, and then other times not receiving anything when it feels like I did do a bad foul and I do deserve some kind of punishment, but there isn't any. Inconsistency, once again. As for passing in Division 3 is truly, utterly, ultimately abysmal, non-existent. You want to pass the ball around? No chance. Instantly intercepted. You add on the lag, you add on the tryhards, you add on constant pressure, and you got to try and make passes and quick decisions. It just does not work. And people have said you got to play smart and maybe at times play safe. Do not rush. I have applied that method. Oh, I'm just constantly running back and forth, spinning in circles because there's literally no one to pass it to because every single person is marked. What else are you supposed to do? And once you try and find a space, try and find an opening after 1 to 2 minutes of just running back and forth, passing the ball about, getting nowhere, you make one little slip up, they instantly get the ball, run all the way down, shoot, score, the end. Literally. And as well, more times now where when shooting, it's constantly blocked. You know what I'm saying? Blocked by the defenders, the AI, whether it takes control over. All the tryhards I'm playing are playing like full-on icon defense, like impenetrable. It's such bullshit. And yet my defenders can't even remain in position and are constantly outplayed despite having a medium high defensive work rate. So the high in the defensive work rate. They're in position. They're ordered to stay in that position and not to attack forwards. You know, it's set as it should be. Make sure you've got the width and depth correct so you're not getting caught out, and it still doesn't work. Now, the only thing I can acknowledge is maybe you need to press the odd button to prevent a through ball, right? Counter-attack like that. But still, there are times where my defenders have a mind of their own. I am literally using the controller and I want it to do one thing, it does the other. It doesn't even respond. There's been times where, maybe because of lag, I've tried dribbling with the ball and I've literally shook the analog stick around erratically and it has done nothing because of the input delay. Idera's input delay does not register in time till there is the collision with another player, and then you've lost possession and then they shoot and score. There are so many rigged moments and so many bullshit moments. And sure, all humans can relate to one another, but I think at the end of the day, the very good players will encounter issues, but they can manage it, of course, because they're very good players. But then for others, it can be worse. And then for others, it's even worse. I don't know exactly where I am on the scale. I mean, this is the key thing to acknowledge. What humans will say most likely in the comment section, down to simply resistance, egocentrism, lack of reasoning ability, is it's a skill issue. If it truly was a skill issue, then when I was making my observations, negative ones in the past, when stuck in Division 6 of Rivals where it felt impossible and toxic, if it was that bad then, and it's because of a skill issue, well, it can't be really, because I overcame it. I overcome it, right? I proceeded onwards, pushed on, and got down to Division 3. So it can't be a skill issue. If the game is rigged, if you're not meant to win, if it feels stiff and clunky, the passes are not accelerated, the passes are very light, even when you hammer it down, the shots aren't accurate, all that programming in a match, you're not meant to win. Sure, if you're a very good player, you might be able to find a way to win, but for most part of it, if you're not meant to win, you're not meant to win. And unfortunately, I've witnessed that quite a few times, right? And I just feel like maybe the lower the division, the worse it gets. I mean, you've got FUT champions, the playoffs, which kind of shit at times, to be fair, but you know, you're not stuck in that one division, right? It's more open to people. I mean, if you could reset your division ranking, that would be good, but I understand why it's not implemented, because then you'll get all the pathetic humans of this world obviously purposely losing, resetting back to, you know, Division 10 and then getting easy games and then abusing and overusing that. So that's why that feature isn't implemented. But they do have the reset at the end of each season, which is kind of good, but it's not exactly that great. I mean, what division was I in when I was set back last time? I think I was in Division 5, and I was pushed back to either Division 7 or 6. I don't know what I'll be this time, maybe 4 or 5. From my experience, Division 4 has been the most fun and somewhat balanced compared to all the other ones I've been in. But right now, it's cancer, right? Sure, if you've got a very good team, you're more likely to do better. Won't always apply, but there are definitely moments where it's like you're trying everything and it still is not working, and they can just glide on through. No tackles, no obstructions, just simply breeze through and get an easy goal like that and repeat. And it's like, well, there's nothing else I can do. I've changed the tactics, I've changed the formation in game, I brought on subs, I've switched players around in position, and it's done F all, right? There's been no visual or physical change despite actually changing the tactics. It's abysmal, right? There you go. That's the reality for me. Let me know if you've got any issues similar, okay?